My name is Nikolaos Zokas. I am Vice President of Greek Committee for International Detent and Peace, shortly Greek Committee for Peace. Dear friends and colleagues, on behalf of our committee, we thank to the Cuban Institute for Friendship of Peoples, ICAP, and the World Peace Council for the invitation. They sent us to take part in the 8th International Seminar. Thank you for the hospitality in your heroic country, and I convey to you the sincere feelings of friendship and solidarity of the members of our organization and the working people of Greece. 63 years have passed since the insurgent Cuban people and their revolutionary leadership proclaimed the socialist character of the revolution after the glorious victory of the over North American imperialism and CIA paid mercenaries at the Bay of Pigs. This victory showed once again the inexhaustible powers of each people when fighting for their national and social liberation, even when the enemy has an overwhelming numerical superiority. Your heroic resistance and endurance of the murderous, destructive blockade lasting 62 years demonstrate the same. The seminar is being held in a period of aggravation of the global economic crisis of the capitalist system, increasing aggression of the imperialism against the peoples, as well as the confrontation of the great imperialist powers and alliances with very serious, painful and dangerous consequences for the life, the present and the future of peoples. In this attack of the great imperialist powers against the people, their main tools are their imperialist alliances such as NATO and the European Union, which are armed wing of the capitalist and monopolistic groups. NATO, yes, uses different pretexts for the political and military interventions. It has brought up the issue of dealing with the genocide, terrorism, relation of weapons of mass destruction, protection of the civilian population, and like. In all these wars and interventions, the European Union has its own special participation, either as a whole, as an imperialist union, or independently of its member states as members of NATO. In many of its murderous operations, they have used decisions of the United Nations, which has turned into a tool to cover and legitimize the plans of American and NATO imperialism. In recent years, NATO has been increasing its attention to cyberspace and cybersecurity, hybrid attacks and energy security. It imposes strict commitments to secure financial resources with the generalization of payment of 2% of GDP for NATO needs by member states with the aim of increasing military spending. Already the summit in Warsaw in 2016, NATO raised the issue of the adoption of the nuclear first strike doctrine at its summit in Brussels in 2021. It adopted it as an element of the NATO's 2030 strategy. This challenge was responded to accordingly by Russia. At the Madrid summit in 2022, it declared China as the challenge to NATO interests and Russia as a direct threat. The decisions of the Lithuanian summit in 2023 intensify the path towards a global NATO, strengthen its ability to intervene across the globe. Across the Indo-Pacific region, confrontation is intensifying with China, which is also advancing its own goals. The United States, India, Australia and Japan quadrilateral cooperation with the realization of military exercises with the participation of the South Korea, the creation by the United States, UK and Australia of the well-known AUKUS add further fuel to the fire of the confrontation. Recently, the government of a Latin American country expressed its will to join NATO, Argentina, as you know, confirming the globalization tendency of this murderous organization. The main levers of the military confrontations, the pressures and the interventions of the imperialists are the military bases which are scattered all over the planet. Of course, the negative champion is the United States with approximately 800 bases and military installations in 80 countries. In the Balkan region, after the United States, NATO and European Union war, and the dissolution of Yugoslavia, the largest United States base, known as Camp Bondsteel, has been established in the Protectorate of Kosovo. Recently, as part of the encirclement of Russia, NATO has started the construction of the largest base in the whole world in Romania. We must also not forget that for the purpose of this encirclement, in recent years, the United States and NATO have installed a very large number of military forces, bases, and other facilities, and are constantly conducting military exercises, real rehearsals for war. In the Balkans, the project of the Euro-Atlantic integration of the Western Balkans is also being promoted. The Greek bourgeoisie pursues an aggressive policy which is served by the right-wing New Democracy Party government, the Social Democratic parties Syriza and PASOK, and the other parties that promote its interests. They promote the full integration of our country into NATO and European Union strategy, strengthen retaliations with the United States. The main criterion of their policy is a geostrategic upgrade in the interests of the big economic groups. Greece, in its 72 years in NATO and in its 43 years in European Union, adapts the demands of these imperialist alliances, actively participate in Euro-Atlantic missions abroad, in imperialist wars and interventions. People pay a heavy price to achieve these goals. The government has few sums available for one more year. For 2024, the country's budget foresees 6.1 billion euros expenses, that is 3.5% of our GDP, ranking Greece in the first two positions in NATO. Expenditures and equipment that have nothing to do with the defense of our country, but only with NATO's aggressive plans. A critical issue of the establishment of the American bases in Greece, which are being developed over time under the responsibility of all bourgeois governments and parties, are being modernized and have infrastructure for nuclear weapons. The previous government of Social Democratic Party Syriza planned and prepared, while the current right-wing New Democracy government signed it in 2021 an agreement with the United States expanded perpetuate its military presence in Greece. With this agreement, over 10 new military bases are created, while the existing one in Souda, Greece, is being expanded. All of this is done with the agreement and support of Euro-Atlantic parties, except the Communist Party of Greece. Greece has turned into a stronghold of Euro-Atlantic imperialists against the people and countries. However, all this target the country, fatally exposing to retaliatory strikes by opposing forces. Most of the Greek people, however, don't agree with all this. We aspire to express this disagreement with our various actions and initiatives throughout Greece. Greek Committee for Peace has focused specifically on where there are new or old United States and NATO facilities, with the request to close them down. We have created a broad coalition of popular organizations. We cooperate with the labor unions, with self-employed and pensioners organization, with the youth, students and women's movement. Especially there where are United States and NATO infrastructures, the local committee of the Greek Committee for Peace developed intense activity in all our events, demonstrations, marches. We raise the issue to closing all foreign bases and the countries exit from, and the countries exit from the imperialist alliances NATO and European Union. A few days ago, very massive demonstration took place in dozens of cities in our country, organized by Greek Committee for Peace in the context of the Pan-Hellenic Anti-Imperialist and Anti-War Action Day. In Athens, hundreds of peace marchers walked 42 kilometers from the marathon to city center in the 41st Marathon Peace March. In this direction, friends and fellow fighters for peace, we will intensify our action to coming period to strengthen the action of the World Peace Council internationally for the peaceful future, for friendship, the cooperation, the fellowship of the workers and the peoples against the interests of the plans of capital and its tools, NATO and European Union, to make our people sovereign in their land. And now, on behalf of Greek Committee for Peace, I would like to present an honorary plaque to ICAP for its action for peace, friendship and fellowship of peoples.